we wanted to provide the high level snapshots of our organizations. And if we go ahead and look to my computer, we wanted to say, okay, well, we know certain, organizations, they want these high level snapshots of what's going on in their environment. How many incidents are being generated within a time frame? What are those incident outcomes? Do we have any specifically noisy alerts? All of these things. So we wanted to provide that data at a high level, but also make it valuable to the practitioner, to the analyst who's going to be working in these tools every day. And that's essentially what we've done here. So,
Well, because if your SOC's filled up with one alert that's just noise,
yeah,
you need to reduce the aggressiveness of that alert in some way, or
yeah,
because it's taking up people's time.
That's most definitely correct. We know that alert fatigue is most certainly a thing. So we want to take what's going on in our environment and say, okay, I see in the case of this bottom left situation here that, there's a lot of irregular cloud storage activity. Well, let's investigate that, because we know that in certain circumstances like marketing, maybe they are working with a partner and they need that ability. So we're going to be able to see these things early on just by a visual glimpse of our dashboard. So I actually just want to take you through all of these charts and what we've got going on here, and we'll start at the top left with the incidents reviewed. So right now we're viewing this from our MDR side. And what we see here is, for our time frame we have of 7 days, we've got some alerts within our environment. 61 of those alerts were taken care of by our Cyber Hero MDR service. And then we have 3 alerts that were taken care of by John Lilliston. What's cool about this, though, is this gives us the ability to demonstrate what's taken place, who our top performers are within our organization, but it also is drillable. So I can then click on all of the alerts that John Lilliston has triaged, and I can then go in and view the details and say, okay, I see there was an execution of NTDS util on a domain controller DC01. Why in the world is that happening? Is somebody trying to export our Active Directory database? Well, I can then over on the right side in the response details see, oh, they're performing a password audit for compliance purposes, and the Active Directory database needed to be exported for assessment.
So obviously indicator of compromise, but
yeah, but in this case,
not false positive, but necessarily.
But in this case, it was a valid business justification. We can go on to the next piece where we see that in private browsing was used via Microsoft Edge. As we can see here, John created a response, and there was actually an exclusion that took place, and we can see the alert clearing purpose was the behaviors permitted on this system due to a valid business justification.
So what we're saying, this user had valid business reasons to use in private browsing all the time.
Yeah.
And so we added an exclusion so we won't get alerts again. And we dated that exclusion up till April 30th. So until April 30th, you weren't going to alert. But then after April 30th, I think that was a big important thing we added this year, the ability to temporary exclusions.
Yeah, that's a very powerful piece because, obviously in a security operations center, you are busy. And, what we need to do is we need to create a way for our analysts, our teams, to be able to say, okay, well, I know that this is going to be taking place for a temporary amount of time. I don't want to have to worry about going back in 15 or 30 days and removing that exclusion.
The amount of ransomware attacks, I feel like everything should be a temporary exclusion, even if it's temporary for a year, because the amount of security incidents and ransomware attacks we've seen where somebody had created a permanent exclusion and forgot to remove it. So they said, I just don't want to get any alerts from this user because they're doing things for the next 30 days and then forgot to remove it. So that temporary exclusion is really important.
And I think it really speaks to, the testament of ThreatLocker. We want to do things via best practices and, always revisiting and auditing any type of security gaps in our environment that might be necessary, like an exclusion, I think is a really powerful thing that we're, giving our users the ability to do.